Hey folks, Tony from Tacoma, Washington. Today I wanted to do a long-term review of my Honda lawnmower. So what I've got here is a Honda Harmony HRB216 quadricut system with a xenon deck. I bought this lawnmower in the summer of 2003 and it is now April of 2017. So this lawnmower is 14 years old. I bought this lawnmower from Home Depot. I think I either paid $6.99 or $7.99. I think I paid $6.99 for it, which sounds like a lot of money for a lawnmower. But when you get 14 years of service out of a mower and it runs perfectly every time you use it, it's money well spent. I hate mowing the lawn. This mower has just absolutely held up fantastic. I'm tough on stuff, and I've got a pretty big yard to mow. I live here in Tacoma, Washington, so every time I mow, everything's wet. That's why I went with the xenon deck. I didn't want a steel deck. I was afraid it might rust. I went with the xenon because it's plastic. It's absolutely held up great. I have done nothing to this mower. In 14 years, I think I've changed the oil 3 times, and I've changed the air cleaner twice. I've changed the air cleaner twice. It has just run. Every time I want to use it, it starts on the 3rd pull every time. It never gives me any trouble. It's never been to the shop. I brought it home from Home Depot, put fuel and oil in it, started it up. It ran great the first day I owned it. Here we are 14 years later, and it still runs great. I use the heck out of it. My neighbor borrows it. It's indestructible, it seems like. So I've done nothing special to this mower. The only thing I do is every time I use it, I turn off the fuel valve. So I just turn that off. And I let the carburetor run out of fuel every time, and then I put it away. I especially, sometimes in the summertime when you're using it every week, I don't do that, but I certainly do it at the end of the season, and for the most part, I do turn off the fuel every time I use it. The only other thing that I do that's special in any way is I use a fuel stabilizer. Where in the heck is it? I use this stuff, Stable, and I try to get fresh fuel at the beginning of every season. I use about 3 gallons for the whole cutting season. If I have any left over from the previous year, I pour it in my wife's car, and then I get 3 gallons of fresh fuel at the beginning of every season. I put Stable in it, and I turn off the fuel supply. That's the only thing special that I do. It's just been a great mower. 14 seasons of cutting. I've got about 1/4 of an acre of grass that I cut. For 3 or 4 months out of the winter time in Washington, we don't cut. But then in the summertime, man, the grass grows like crazy. So you cut every single week, and sometimes twice a week. This mower has been great. This is the original bag, the catcher. The bag is replaceable, but my bag is still in great shape, and I've never really done anything to it. I remember one year it was really dusty, so I sprayed it off. But other than that, that's the original bag. It's still in great shape, and I expect it to go for many more seasons. Everything has worked. The only problem, there's only two problems I've had with this mower, and they're not problems. These little tires in the rear, those are the drive wheels. I had a little trouble getting traction in some places. I've got some hills I have to climb, and they're ridiculous hills. They're 40 degree hills, and I couldn't get traction. So I just studded them. I got some 1/4-inch screws and I screwed them in the tires, and that gives me a little extra traction, and this thing will climb like a billy goat now. It'll go up the hills with no problem. It's a perfect design because all the weight of the mower is in the back, and then when you put the bag on, the bag's on the back, so all the weight is over the drive wheels. So the more you cut, the more traction you get. It's just a great design. The only the only design flaw that I would say that the mower has is they put the fuel cap and the pull cord too close together. It would have been great had the fuel cap been on the other side, but that's my only complaint. This has just been an outstanding mower. And more than that, it's held up. Like I say, I'm really tough on stuff. Nothing lasts me for, for 14 years. This mower has just done a great job. Part of the reason this mower, has lasted is because it does what it's supposed to do. Every single time you want to use it, it just works great. Like I say, it always starts on the third pull. Part of the reason it doesn't start faster than 3 pulls is because I turn the fuel off, and it takes a little bit of time for the fuel to, once you turn the fuel back on, for the fuel to get back into the carburetor. And it takes a pull or two to reprime the carburetor and get fuel into the cylinder. But it pulls real easy. I've got a bad shoulder. One of the things I've been doing over the last several years is replacing all my lawn equipment for easy start. My Honda mower is the only thing I don't have to replace because it starts so easy already. It's quiet. My neighbors say I've got the quietest lawnmower around. This thing has been so dependable. The neighbor on both sides of me went out and bought Honda mowers because they see how great this thing works. My next door neighbor to the north, they bought the exact same mower, but they have an updated model, so they have some kind of a switch they can throw to make it go into mulching mode. I've got an insert. I have to put an insert in the bag area. But that's really no issue. I don't see that as a problem at all. And my neighbor on the other side, he had an old Honda mower that he's had for 20 years. It finally gave up the ghost. He's been borrowing this one, and I told him, this thing's got lots of life in it. Don't go spend $700 on another mower when we can both use this one. So this has just been a great mower. So anyway, after 14 years, like I say, the only thing I've done to it is I've put 2 air cleaners in it. The last one wasn't even a Honda air cleaner. It was from Ace Hardware, but it worked fine. And I changed the oil twice. So 2 air cleaners, I changed the oil twice in 14 years. Today, I just did a complete tune-up. So I changed the spark plug, I changed the air cleaner, I changed the blades, and what else did I do? I think that was it. That's all you do when you tune them up. Air cleaner, spark plug, and blades. At some point I've got to get into the exhaust and clean that screen, but I haven't done that yet. And I'll show you what the blades will look like. Here's my box of tune-up parts. Cost me, I got these parts online for $43. This is the old air cleaner that I got from Ace Hardware. It's still in pretty good shape. It's in the bag that the new element came in. I also got this. They sent me the whole kit. So it had Honda oil, a 1030 Honda oil. It had this NGK spark plug. It had the new air element, and it had blades for $43 free delivery. So I thought that was a great price. But here's the old blades, and you can see they have been used. I've taken these off one time and sharpened them. Maybe I took them off twice and sharpened them. But they've gotten to the point now where I just felt that it was the right thing to do to replace them. And they've, I could say, 14 years, and there's a lot of obstacles in my yard. So again, I can't speak highly enough about how well this Honda mower has held up. So I hope in today's world, 14 years later, I hope they're still building a quality product. My neighbor to the north has had a brand new Honda for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years now. Theirs is still working great. So as far as I can see, Honda makes just an outstanding lawnmower. Like I say, mine has certainly endured the test of time. It's 14 years old, and the way it's running, I hope it goes at least 10 more years. So we'll see what happens. Tony from Tacoma, take care.